Okay, so talking about Battlefield 1. And as you can see, hardcore mode is confirmed from this screenshot. Um, yeah, can't wait for hardcore mode. A lot of people have been waiting and speculating on the forums on if there's going to be a hardcore mode or not because we haven't seen anything or heard anything about it. This screenshot right here confirms it. Now, I play a lot of hardcore. I play regular also. I mix between them depending on how I'm feeling. But yeah, because in Bad Company 2, I played solely hardcore. I didn't play Battlefield 3 at all, and Battlefield 4, I kind of switched between core and hardcore. Because hardcore is kind of not good in Battlefield 4. It's meh. And actually, Battlefield 4 is just meh. And I never played it in Hardline. I never played Hardline. So yeah, hardcore mode. Um, some speculations. Is it just going to be tacked on, or is it going to be, a good hardcore mode that's not just slight changes, that make the game different, or not really different. But the other thing I want to talk about is Fog of War. We're going to have some speculation around that. So, yeah, back to hardcore, though. So, with hardcore, um, I'm wondering what the health percentage, if they're going to do just a straight up health drop, or I saw someone speculate on the forums that they should just increase the damage of guns but leave the health the same, or balance each gun differently. You know? Um, I don't know. It's like how it's gonna work. I know there's probably not gonna be no vehicle repairs. Like in the vehicle, they're probably going to obviously do the magazine thing on guns that have detachable magazines, where instead of you shoot 5 rounds and you unload the magazine, you get to keep those rounds. In Battlefield 4 Hardcore, if you shot like 10 and you had 30 and you dropped it, well, you lost those 20 left. So that's probably gonna happen. I don't think it's probably not gonna happen for every gun, because not every gun in this game uses a detachable magazine. A lot of them are stripper clip fed or end block fed or single fed. I mean, single shot rifles, or you have a pump action that's a tube where you just keep loading more in. Um, yeah, I'm also wondering how snipers are going to work with their whole sweet spot mechanic they have in hardcore. Is it just not going to apply? Is this IRM 95 going to be the best gun in the game? Because it has no sweet spot in hardcore, it's just going to be one shot? How is suppression going to be affected differently? Is there going to be more bullet drop, less bullet drop? Is every round still going to be a tracer? I mean, we all know there's going to be less HUD, but probably I don't know. I don't really know how everything's going to work. In the planes, are you going to still be able to shoot through your plane? In the passenger seat, whenever you're pointing the gun and you're just kind of shooting through the plane without doing any damage? Are you going to have to be mindful of where you're aiming? Can you shoot down your own plane? Because in the 2-seater, you can aim the gun directly at the pilot and his control mechanisms, instruments they're called. Yeah, then what else could be done for hardcore? Leave your suggestions for hardcore down below. And then some speculations for Fog of War. I saw a little bit of excerpt of Fog of War, but it wasn't really enough to go on. And I don't think that that excerpt, it was on some website. I don't think they were supposed to talk about it because they only did a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna talk about Fog of War now. Fog of War, by the description that little guy, I don't know, but the little description that was there, it said there was no HUD. It was like he said, like, I couldn't see anything. There was no HUD, and it took me a while to figure out where my team was, or even who was my team. So that's interesting. Fog of War is usually a term in video games referring to RTS games and strategy games, where like if you played the old Command and Conquers, any spot that you haven't been to or you don't have units near is dark and you can't see anything there. That's Fog of War. Um, World of Tanks uses a similar function. Same with Wargame Red Dragon. Basically, almost every RTS game uses a Fog of War system. But in terms of an FPS game, I don't know. Someone we were talking about it on the forums. We think it's gonna be full real mode, no HUD. Like, wait, let me bring that page open. We were talking about, or what's that one guy's? There it is. He speculated it's full, virtually no HUD, even less than hardcore, lower time to kill, longer spawn times possibly. I don't know if the longer spawn times will be there, but obviously everything's probably going to be foggy and a lot harder to see. The weather is going to play a really big role in the game. No field medic, no repairs, and different amount of bullets you can take. So yeah, that's it. That's a one guy's speculation. I don't know how much it is. Yeah, and then somebody linked to like a Wikipedia article on Fog of War. I mean, it just basically talks about Fog of War and RTS games and strategy games and yeah. But yeah, if we have hardcore and a full real mode, this game is game of the year. Like it's simply game of the year. There's nothing else to say. Like, you have a good campaign, an interesting campaign. You have a new game mode, operations. Can you imagine full real mode operations? Like actually having to take cover. Like in Battlefield, you barely have to take cover. I mean, honestly, you're just sprinting around. It's a twitch shooter. But imagine if they had like a full real mode. Oh, I would say slower movement speed. Like you can still run forever, but you're slower. Because in Battlefield, you can run like it's stupidly fast. Like you can keep up with a tank. Though in World War One, that's pretty easy because tanks are extremely slow. Like I mean, these ones are nearly almost double the speed of what you would see, especially with how much they got stuck. Like you didn't. Tanks were horrible in World War One, but except the Reno FT. Reno FT was pretty good, and there was a couple other little ones here and there. But like there was this the early French one before they got the Reno FT called the Saint Chamond or Chamond. Chamond, I don't know how you say it, but the tracks weren't the length of the body, and it was like you probably had, I think, maybe a couple feet hanging over at the front and the back, and it would just nosedive and get stuck. Because all the weight was like at the front, because that's where they had the gun. This big, huge 75mm gun. For World War One, that's a big gun mounted on a tank. 75mm, I mean, that's caliber-wise the same as the Shermans, the Panther, Panzer IV, 17 pounders is 77, I think. So yeah, but I know the dimensions, the case dimensions are a lot different, but it's like comparing 22 and 223. Yeah, they're both 22 rounds, but they're not the same power level. But still, you get what I mean. What else could be in Fog of War mode? Less vehicles, maybe? And maybe planes are less effective. Like, even less effective? Because, like, planes really weren't that effective versus ground troops at all in World War One. A little bit, but they didn't really break the stalemate. They thought they were going to break the stalemate, but they didn't. Oops, sorry about that. So, yeah. I'm happy. Hardcore mode is confirmed, and a lot of speculation around Fog of War mode. Really want to know more about Fog of War and Hardcore, but more about both of these. So yeah, bye.